Welcome to Right versus Left News, your daily briefing on the stories that matter, told from both sides of the aisle. I'm your AI host, Chris, and each day I bring you the most important political and cultural news with perspectives from conservative and progressive voices. No spin, no agenda, just the facts and the opinions that shape our national conversation. Let's dive in. Here's what we're watching today. A prominent House seat just went vacant as Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation takes effect. The Justice Department is launching a massive time-boxed review of the Epstein files. CES opens in Las Vegas with AI everywhere. And a fight brewing over who writes the rules. A Paris court convicts 10 people of cyberbullying France's First Lady, raising free speech versus harassment questions. And crypto starts 2026 on a tear, while Trump media signals a new token drop. Before we jump into today's stories, a quick word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Family GPT, the AI chat platform actually designed for kids. If your children are curious about ChatGPT but you're worried about what they might see, Family GPT gives you full parental controls, content filtering, and the ability to align responses with your family's values. Whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, secular, and many more. Monitor every conversation, set usage limits, and let your kids explore AI safely. No ads, no data selling, complete privacy. Sign up free at familygpt.chat.
Thanks to our sponsors for supporting Right vs. Left News. Now let's get to the headlines. First, Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation from Congress is official as of Monday, January 5th, leaving Georgia's 14th district temporarily without representation. State law requires Governor Brian Kemp to call a special election within 10 days, so a late February vote is the earliest realistic timeline. Constituents remain divided over her tumultuous tenure. On the right, coverage notes that her exit followed President Trump withdrawing his endorsement, framed as fallout inside the America First movement, and predicts a solid R special election that likely keeps the seat in GOP hands. Some conservatives see it as a cautionary tale about intra-party infighting heading into the midterms. On the left, there's relief among some Democrats who view her departure as removing a polarizing figure. Yet her brand remains influential in red districts, and the vacancy narrows margins in a closely divided House. Next, the Justice Department has begun an intensive review of 5.2 million pages tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Hundreds of DOJ attorneys are combing documents from January 5th through January 23rd after missing a December 19th deadline under a new transparency law. Lawmakers from both parties are pressing the department over redactions and pacing, with figures like Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna signaling continued oversight. On the right, expect focus on repeated delays and heavy redactions, paired with the argument that the public deserves full disclosure while protecting the identities of victims. Some commentators see this as a test of whether powerful figures will truly face scrutiny. On the left, the emphasis is on decades of systemic failures that enabled Epstein's crimes, along with victim-centered redactions, guardrails, and an orderly process that avoids re-traumatizing survivors. At CES 2026 in Las Vegas, AI saturates nearly every category, from health tech to humanoid robots. Investors are excited, though many VCs expect a shakeout this year as weaker AI startups get weeded out. Behind the hype, a policy fight is brewing. Republicans are pushing to curb a patchwork of state AI rules, while the White House moves to centralize governance at the federal level. On the right, the argument is that innovation needs breathing room, warning that 50 different state regimes could choke startups, create compliance thickets, and push talent offshore. On the left, center-left analysts counter that clear safeguards against bias, privacy intrusions, and deepfakes can build public trust and actually accelerate responsible adoption. We'll be right back with more of today's news after this brief message.
This episode is brought to you by Family GPT, the AI chat platform actually designed for kids. If your children are curious about ChatGPT but you're worried about what they might see, Family GPT gives you full parental controls, content filtering, and the ability to align responses with your family's values. Whether Christian, Muslim, Jewish, secular, and many more. Monitor every conversation, set usage limits, and let your kids explore AI safely. No ads, no data selling, complete privacy. Sign up free at familygpt.chat.
Thanks again to our sponsors. Now back to the news. In Paris, a court convicts 10 people of online harassment against France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron, for spreading false claims about her gender and sexuality. Sentences range from awareness training to suspended prison terms, and judges condemn the degrading misinformation that proliferated on social media. On the right, some worry about the line between punishing harassment and chilling online speech, arguing that criminal penalties for posts can risk overreach, especially in politically charged contexts. On the left, the verdict is framed as pushback against coordinated smear campaigns and disinformation, aimed at protecting individuals, especially women in public life, from gendered abuse that can spill offline. Finally, crypto is rallying to start 2026. Bitcoin climbs into the low 92,000s, hovering around 92,800 today. At the same time, Trump media plans to distribute a new digital token to shareholders later this year, intertwining politics, media, and crypto. Still, last year's late 2025 slump is a reminder that volatility cuts both ways. On the right, pro-crypto voices see a friendlier policy climate, arguing that innovation, ETFs, and lighter touch rules can keep the US ahead. The Trump media token plan fits a thesis of mainstreaming digital assets through familiar brands and public companies. On the left, progressives flag potential conflicts of interest when politicians' media ventures mint tokens, and point to boom-bust dynamics as a warning that retail investors often absorb the downside. Many call for clearer guardrails on disclosures, custody, and consumer protection before politics and crypto mix further. Quick recap: Greene's resignation triggers a Georgia special election. DOJ's Epstein review runs on a fast clock. CES spotlights AI amid a tug-of-war over regulation. A Paris court convicts cyberbullies targeting Brigitte Macron. And crypto kicks off 2026 with momentum and fresh political entanglements. We'll keep tracking it as the week unfolds. That's it for today's episode of Right versus Left News. Remember, understanding both sides isn't about picking a team. It's about being informed. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and join us tomorrow for another balanced look at the day's biggest stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.